I built a 7-figure remote cleaning business in Los Angeles. It's currently at the point where it's spitting off around $100,000 per month in revenue, almost fully automated. I spent about 5 hours per week in this business. And I've done this all while traveling the world over the last 3 years. I've traveled across 60 different countries, managing this local business completely remotely. But if something happened and I lost my 7-figure cleaning business overnight, how would I start it from scratch? What would I do today? And that's what I want to cover in today's video is what tactics would I use? What step-by-step actions would I take to rebuild this business to make it 7 figures again? And I'm going to go into all of that and way more in this video today. Now, what I'm going to explain here is optimizing for speed. I'm sure you don't want to spend a decade plus rebuilding a business and creating it to a 7-figure business, right? You want to do this fast. So I'm going to show you the nitty-gritty way I would try to scale a business from scratch to 7 figures as fast as possible. So everything I'm saying is under the frame of, hey, let's just do this really quick, kind of messy, and just take a really stupid, dumb action to kind of grow fast. Cool? So that's the frame we're going to go about this with. Now, step 1 for creating a fully remote local cleaning business is get the tech stack ready. So let's say this is ground zero, day one. First thing I'm doing is I got to get a website up and I got to get some sort of software system to manage my bookings. Likely what I'm doing at this point is signing up for one of the major softwares in the cleaning space just to get things going. There's a bunch of them. There's ZenMaid, there's Convert Labs, there's Launch27, there's Booking Koala, there's Workiz. I don't really care which one. Just pick any of them. A lot of these software services also give you a website along with it. Now, what these booking softwares do is they let you book a customer, right? So you get it set up, you put your pricing in, a customer could go online on the booking form and say, hey, I want a 1-bedroom for 4 hours, whatever, and they could simply book there. Now, when you set up the software, they're gonna get hooked into Stripe, which is like a payment processing company, right, for credit cards. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna sign up for the software. Most of them have a free trial. Sign up for Stripe, link the two together, which is part of the process of getting set up with the software, and you're generally pretty good. You get the website set up, which hopefully they give you, and if not, there's a bunch of really cool tools out there to spin up a AI website. Just type in like WordPress templates. I don't really care. You just want a decent looking website to get started. What you're gonna do is also get a logo created. So you could go to canva.com, you could go to ChatGPT and figure out a name that you want and spin up a logo. Now, honestly, when I started, none of this existed, right? So I literally went to Microsoft Word and I figured out the name from Reddit somewhere. And I was like, okay, made this. And I made the logo in Microsoft Word and I took a little screenshot and that was my logo. And that was my logo for like a year or two, which is crazy. So it doesn't need to be perfect. You just got to get something up. The cool thing is it's very easy nowadays to look professional, to have something kind of cool because all these insane, amazing tools exist for you. So again, to summarize, sign up for a booking software, spin up a really quick website with the booking software or somewhere else, get a quick logo made in Canva, and you're pretty much set up and ready to go. Now, next thing I'm doing for the setup is pricing. So there's different ways of doing pricing. And I made this franchise. We teach franchisees a specific way, which involves like a spreadsheet and making packages for the sake of speed, because I want you to set this up quickly. We're going to go super simple. Your pricing is simply going to be hourly, right? So if I'm starting this from scratch, I'm just going to say, hey, let's get this up and running. I'm going to charge 15 hour, 16 hour per man hour. What I would do is I'll look at the competitors in my market, not the small mom and pop shops. I'm actually going to look at the proper competitors who have a really good website, who maybe are known. I'm going to do some calling. I'm going to say, hey, how much you charge an hour? A lot of them will say, hey, oh, we only do flat rates. And I'll say, great. What's your flat rate service for a 1-bedroom apartment? How many cleaners are coming? And you could back into the math of what this costs on an hourly basis. Now, eventually, I would probably change this over and do proper flat rate packages. For the sake of speed and simplicity, I'm just going to figure out what's the going rate for charging customers hourly, and I'm going to make sure I'm at the high end of that. Simple as that. And that's what I'm going to charge customers just to make it super simple, super clean to get launched. Now, here's the thing. I'm always setting a minimum on the hours, right? So most jobs, for example, of what we're doing right now, it's a 4-hour minimum. So if we charge 60 an hour, it's going to be at least $240. You might be thinking, Neil, dude, that sounds really expensive. Like, are you sure? I'd rather make it high and then just offer a fat discount, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up an hourly rate at, let's say, $60 an hour, and I'll do a 4-hour minimum and make increments from there. And eventually you're going to know, like, hey, a 2-bedroom needs this amount of time, a 3-bedroom needs this amount of time. The general rule of thumb I say is 1 man hour for roughly 250 to 350 square feet. If it's a very dirty home, you might need to charge 1 man hour for 250 square feet. If it's not that dirty, 1 man hour for 350 to 400 square feet, depending what it is, right? So you could just do that math, figure out how many hours you should quote people. Simple enough. We have the easy, stupidly simple pricing that we're going to set up right now for your service. Next step up is we're going to have to find labor, right? The core of the business and this whole model is you got to find good labor, right? That's literally the product you're selling. The reason people are paying you is because it's actually really freaking hard to find the labor, get them to show up. Like, it's a whole thing, right? And that's why you exist. That's why we exist. That's why cleaning companies exist, right? To bridge that gap and be the middleman to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So the first thing I'm doing is most of our current cleaners for my current organization come from Indeed. Right, we might post online and say, hey, if you're an independent cleaner, contact us, X, Y, and Z. That's called inbound marketing. You post a job ad, you might sponsor it and have leads coming in. The thing is with Indeed, you're going to get like 100 applicants and 2 of them will end up converting, which is not bad. What I would also do though is outbound. So there's a lot of places online where people who kind of don't know how to market are already posting their services. This would be things like Facebook groups for where cleaners are, care.com, housekeeper, whatever. I'd probably just reach out to these independent cleaners who already exist and I'd make a call. And the call would say something like this. Hey, I've helped take care of a few homes and manage a few places. I'm looking for a good cleaner to partner with. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do and your rates? They'll give the spiel and you'd ask, perfect. Hey, how much do you charge? They might say, hey, I'll charge $200 flat rate. Then you ask, okay, how many hours would that be? And you could figure out what the hourly rate is based off of that. And if I like them, if the hourly rate is acceptable, I'd say, okay, amazing. Here's how it works. I'm starting this business. I'm going to go and get clients myself. I'll simply send them over to you and pay you the exact rate that you are charging. No catch about it. The goal is to scale and get you as many recurring clients as possible. How's that sound to you? The reason I'm doing this is I'm charging the client hourly, like we decided, and I'm also going to pay the labor hourly. That way it's always matched up. People get into trouble in this model when they charge flat rate to the customer and then pay their labor hourly. Then it's a mismatch of incentives. I don't like that. I want to keep things clean. Charge a customer hourly, find cleaners, pay them hourly for the jobs. Now, you might be thinking like, dude, what if these people I call, they're all so expensive? Like they're taking 70% of my cut. At the beginning, I don't care. The whole philosophy to get launched and scale fast is get cleaners into place, and then I'll go over the marketing, but get the marketing engine into place. So if you're overpaying for labor up front, that's okay. Like your goal is not to make money. Your goal is to keep customers happy, get Google reviews, get the engines running. Eventually, you could find other cleaners to replace or add on and all that kind of good stuff. So at the beginning, don't focus too much on the margin. Do outbound, try to find cleaners. So what I would do is I would probably do 10 calls a day outbound as well as Indeed post. And all I'm looking for is 2 cleaners to start. One, which is going to be, let's say, my primary cleaner, where if I get a job today, I'll call them and they're matched up and they could go. Then a backup cleaner in case that cleaner is not available. So all I really need is 2 to get going. I don't even have customers right now. A lot of people launch and they're like, dude, I need like 20 cleaners. Dude, don't worry about that. You don't need that yet. You will solve that problem later on. So again, outbound for cleaners and inbound through Indeed for cleaners. Find 2 and you're ready to roll. Next up is what I will call Blitzkrieg marketing. Now, I'll tell you where I messed up when I launched my business years ago. I was an amateur business owner. I didn't know what I was doing. Like literally cleaners would want to get paid and I'd be like, all right, pull up outside my corporate building and I'd hand them money in cash. And everyone thought I was a drug dealer, like zero business acumen at all. And back then I thought, hey, look, I'll invest money. When I make some return on the money, then I'll spend more. And then when I make some money back from that, then I'll spend more, right? So I was just, kind of floating. I would put $100 in, and if I made $50 back, I would then use that $50 to go buy the next lead and keep going from there. The truth is there's ways where more advanced business owners operate their business, which is something amateur business owners don't do. So amateur Neil was just moving slow. If I'd get a little bit of money, then I'd go and invest in something new, or I'll try to DIY everything. Knowing what I know now, if I had to rebuild my business from scratch, I'm trying to grow as fast as possible. So I'm not going to wait to get cash in and then spend money out. That's one method of doing things, but the truth is I'm going to spend the most amount of money on finding leads ASAP to grow my business fast. Now, when it comes to marketing, there's 2 ways to think about marketing with home service businesses. Number 1 is called creating demand. Creating demand is like if you've ever gotten a door hanger on your door, or you've gone to a farmer's market and someone's like, hey, try this and see if you like it, or whatever it is. Or if you go, you're flipping through a magazine and you see an ad there of someone selling a product. That's called creating demand. The consumer maybe wasn't looking for what you're selling, but they're like, you know what? Maybe I actually do need that. I guess I'll buy it. That is one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is what's called capturing demand. Capturing demand in marketing means there's already people looking for your service. You just got to get in front of them. Now, when it comes to this model, which is cleaning, or any home services really, people are already looking for what you are selling. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. They're literally going and typing into Google or wherever to find a cleaning service. So think about it for yourself. If you had to find a cleaning service yourself, where would you look? You're probably going to Google. You're maybe going to ChatGPT. You're probably going to like Yelp or Thumbtack, somewhere online to find cleaners and find labor. So what we're going to focus on right now at the beginning is purely capturing demand. Let's find the people who already have the eyeballs and get in front of them. My goal again is I want to rebuild my business as fast as humanly possible. I'm going to spend the money to capture demand, and that's what we're going to do here. In Made This Franchise, we have this very elaborate grand launch plan where we tell people exactly how much money to spend on certain marketing mediums. We set things up for them. We do a lot of outbound and inbound. It's like a whole shebang. Now, we can't go into everything today, obviously, but I'm going to tell you exactly what I would do if I didn't have that background and I had to just spend money today. I would be spending a lot of money up front, and I'd probably be spending around $5,000 per month on marketing for at least the first 3 months. There's 4 main tactics I would test out. One would be Google AdWords. Now, Google AdWords is, if you're typing into like cleaner near me, one of the ones where it says sponsored results is called AdWords. You can get as targeted as you want. You can figure out your exact demographic. I'd probably find an agency which specializes in cleaning companies and say, hey, I want you to run Google AdWords for me. The other thing I would do is I would immediately get a Google My Business profile set up, or GBP, Google Business Profile setup. Just type in GBP setup, right? And it'll pop up on Google. You're going to get your listing set up and you're going to add photos. You're going to add an address. You'll get it verified. You upload your documentation. Once you have your GBP set up, you unlock something else called Google Local Service Ads, Google LSA. This is another platform which is at the top of Google. So if you type in cleaner near me, at the top, it says Google guaranteed for certain search results. That's LSA. I want to get on there too. The last thing I'll probably do is try out whatever quoting engine is specific for my city. So in a lot of places, Thumbtack's great. A couple places, Angie's List is great. In most places, it's not great though. Some places on the West Coast, Yelp's great. Pick one other platform that you want to test out and start spending money there. Then what I do is just aggressively spend money on these platforms and get sales to come in. Now we'll go over next how to actually do the sales, but Blitzkrieg marketing is the most important, and I'd literally just spend it on capturing demand of where people are. Now, I want to spend a bit of time talking about this, which is the psychology of scale. What I did as amateur Neil when I first started is I would only spend a little bit of money and I'd be scared. Is this working? Is this have a positive return on investment? And then I'd be like, oh my God, I lost $500. I'm gonna cut it forever and I'll think about it in a few years. I was just so fearful of losing money. Now, knowing what I know now, I know that this business model works. I know it's just a matter of me growing fast enough, and I know that the bigger I grow, the cheaper it costs to acquire that same customer. Here's what I mean by that. As you scale up your business, at the beginning, it's probably going to be the most expensive to buy a customer. You have zero social proof. You probably don't know how to sell as well as you normally are. Your ads still need to get dialed in, so you're trying to figure out what works and doesn't work. So many times we talk to my franchisees and they're like, hey, Thumbtack, I spent $500 in there. It didn't work. It doesn't work for me. I'm going to shut it off. The actual correct approach is decide on a budget ahead of time you want to devote to one marketing medium, test it aggressively, make tweaks, optimize it, and then you can decide later on if you're actually getting a positive return or not. But you need to be testing it for a month or 2 months at least, right, to understand if you're actually getting a proper return from this. The first 3 months I'm using is just a pure testing phase. I'm lighting this money on fire, right? I'm testing it out and seeing what works and doesn't work. The truth is, at some point, one of these is going to hit. And when it hits, I'm going to be able to scale fast. So this money at the beginning, I don't need to make a lot of money. I don't need to make any money at the beginning to actually be able to close this deal and actually scale up. Too many people focus on profit on the first cleaning. That's the incorrect way of thinking about this. In this model, all the money is on the recurring. That's going to be reoccurring, meaning someone books a one-time customer and you rebook them again. I'll talk about that later. Or recurring, you get them on a monthly, bi-weekly, weekly plan. That's how the real money is made here. So at the beginning, I just want you to think, dude, I don't care about the profits as much. I'm just trying to get as many customers in the door and booked and close them, get them in my software system, and then I will be able to monetize them later. And I promise you, it's not like that forever. You'll figure out what works. Your sales script will get dialed in. Things become cheaper over time as you know what you're doing. But at the beginning, do not worry too much about making money on that first cleaning for any customer. Your goal right now, and my goal with rebuilding this, is max amount of customers in. Just get in the door, get in our CRM, and we'll remarket to you as well. The next thing is having a really dialed in sales script. Now, knowing what I know now, I would probably handle the sales myself, right? And I'm probably aiming to close at around a 40 to 50% rate for phone sales. So any real lead which comes in, I'm going to close 40 to 50% of them. The sales script, it's a longer process. You know, we have something called the $10 million phone sales script that that we give to franchisees. Like everything that I've ever sold myself with my organization, we put in an awesome sales script for all franchisees. I'm going to tell you the main bullet list of what this sales script is so you could use it for yourself. The frame of reference when someone calls you is always going to be that you are the consultant. You're asking them the questions about their home, understanding their needs, and then you're going to match them up with how many hours they need for their service. And the one key trick here is the question you're going to ask after you ask them a bunch of questions about their home is, do you want this monthly, weekly, or bi-weekly? I didn't offer one-time service at all, right? Now, they might say, oh, I really want one-time service. Then you might say, okay, fine. Hey, we normally don't do one-time service, but I'll allow you to do it. But at the beginning, I don't want you to offer that because there's so many people I spoke to who said, oh, I think I want to do monthly. Let's just do monthly. I'll say, great, that's amazing. Look, try it out the first one. If you really don't like it, you can cancel afterwards. It's no issue. We can give you a discount for the recurring jobs. There's a lot of ways of structuring it. But the sales script, the actual words don't matter as much as long as you understand that your goal is you're a consultant. You're trying to figure out the state of their home and help them out by matching them with the right number of hours to clean their home. That's what you're doing as part of the sales script. And your goal is to close at a 40 to 50% rate on this. So again, at the beginning, if I'm rebuilding this, I'm trying to drive as many phone calls to myself as possible because I know I've recruited a couple cleaners, my tech platform set up, and my marketing's going. Let me close the max number of sales as I can right now. All right, once things are humming along, here's what I'm doing. I'm closing the sale, and my main focus is getting Google reviews. That's all I care about at this point. Remember I said, don't worry too much about the profits for your first cleaning at this stage. I'm only focused on, I get a customer in, and we do a great job for them. They're happy. I get a Google review to put on our profile. I'd probably be aiming to get to 100 reviews in about 6 months. You could do this through a variety of means, right? You have a cleaning which goes off really well. They leave you a Google review. I've even had it where we do test cleanings at friends and family's house. They leave us a Google review with a photo. I had a customer who had a great experience on the phone with me, but ended up canceling their cleaning or going somewhere else. I'd say, hey, do you mind leaving us a review just about your customer service experience? I don't care how you get the review, as long as it's legal. Just get the review and get it on your Google profile. Why this is so important is, number one, it increases social proof. If you were a customer and you're shopping around and one company had 10 reviews, the other one had 1,000 reviews, do you think you'd pay more for the 1,000 review company? Do you think you'd be more convinced by them if they said, hey, don't worry about it, we have great cleaners? Probably, right? It just makes things cheaper for you ongoingly. So why not get those reviews as fast as possible? That's your goal, right? The way I think about it and what we teach our franchisees is every Google review is worth $50. That doesn't mean you pay the customer $50 because you can't do that. It's illegal. Google will take you down. But just think about it in your mind of like, hey, this is worth $50. It's worth enough for me to chase the customer, ask for a review, follow up with them. All right, so what I'm doing after this is, at this point, I will have the cleaners. I'm probably coordinating jobs. I'm taking bookings. I'm doing the marketing. Now I want to try to get myself out of the sales funnel so I could focus more on scaling. So the next thing I'm going to do is recruit remote team members. The first hire is probably going to be someone who's really, really good at sales. So I'm probably going to use a service like dynamitejobs.com to find someone. If I'm trying to go fast, I would probably sign up for something called SIG and Passport, which I have right now, which they'll help me find a team member and I simply pay them for it. There's a lot of ways I could find remote team members, but I'm trying to find someone who's really, really good at sales. When I onboard that person, I'm going to have them shadow me for a couple weeks, train them myself, get them really, really good. Not like one day of training and say, go ahead, train them aggressively. And that person would then take over sales and the follow-up. And I'm looking for them to convert at probably a 40% rate. I can't expect someone to be maybe as good as me, the owner, at closing sales, but I need them to be at least 80% as good as me, right? So if I'm closing at a 50% rate, it's acceptable for them to close at a 40% rate and then track results accordingly. Eventually, you're going to find another remote team member to help replace yourself in operations, to coordinate things with the cleaners and the scheduling. Accounting is probably the simplest one to find outsourced. You'll get a bookkeeper for QuickBooks. Eventually, you could find someone who could run payments for cleaners. And the last part is marketing, where candidly, if you're using vendors for marketing, you don't really need to replace that as much since you just have to manage them. Cool. So at this stage, my flywheel is generally created. I do marketing to get a customer. I match them with a cleaner, make sure everyone's happy. I get a Google review. I do a sales process. Then I market more and get someone else and kind of repeat it. Now, there's one step of this funnel where amateur business owners like myself when I started didn't know what to do, but mature business owners know what to do. This is what I call the leaky bucket issue. Most business owners do that same funnel. Get a customer, get money, get a review, go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Advanced business owners add one more layer into this, and that is making these customers repeat buyers. We use an agency called a Grow Baby Grow Agency, gbg.marketing. And what they do is they set up funnels in Go High Level. Go High Level is a marketing software. So let's say you're a customer and you book with me. You book a one-time service because you didn't want a recurring service. And I want to remarket to you. You'd probably get an automated text in 30 days or 60 days saying, hey, you probably haven't cleaned your home in a while. Why don't you rebook? Here's $25. And you'd get an ongoing sequence for a year to remind you of that we exist, that you have promos available to you to get you to rebook. And think about it. That customer, if you rebook them again, your cost for getting that customer is zero. You don't have to pay Google. You don't have to pay Thumbtack. You don't have to pay Angie's List. You already have that customer in your CRM. And our goal is just to remarket to them. So setting up the funnels to remarket to them is so important because now the value of that customer is worth so much more. Let's run through some quick math. Pretend you close a customer for $300 for a job and you pay the cleaner $150. So you only have $150 left. But you paid a lot for marketing. Maybe you paid $100 or even $150 to Google to get that customer. Now you're like, well, dude, I made $50, maybe even $0 for that lead. Let's say that customer books again in 60 days because you contact them again and they book for another $300. You pay the cleaner $150 and you make $150, right? Because you're not paying marketing cost anymore. Let's say you rebook them again in 6 months because you're marketing them well. Again, the same cycle. This is why I say things become cheaper the more you grow. So at the beginning, don't worry too much about having the most inexpensive leads or making money in your first job. Just go aggressive, get people into your system, and get really good at remarketing them. And that's how you actually complete the flywheel here and keeping it going. Now, at this stage, I have everything set up. I just need to pump up the gas. I'm working on recruiting cleaners and working on getting customers. The business model is relatively simple when you have this set up. You get cleaners and you match them with customers. You keep everyone happy and you keep everything kumbaya and you keep going. You do this long enough and fast enough and you will have $1 million business on your hands again. Now, if this video was helpful for you at all, I have a bunch of other really cool videos on my channel to explain exactly how to do this in even more detail. If you just want to jump on the rocket ship and have us do a lot of this kind of stuff for you, check out maidthisfranchise.com to join the Made This Franchise system. That's MAIDTHIS franchise.com. Hopefully catch you soon on the next video.